Hey guys, thought I'd play a little bit of music in the background. I don't know, might be copyrighted. I don't know. Good song though. Pink, today's my day. It's a good inspirational song. If you need a little inspiration in your life, why the fuck not? And yes, I said that. Yes, I did. I did say that. Alright, so it's called Today's the Day, by the way, people. But before I do too much and get a copyright on me, I'm gonna turn off the song. So today I actually thought we'd talk about tattoos again because I just had this, I don't know, idea that came to my brain while I was in training today, which is really funny because it seems to be how it works for me all the time. You know, I'm in the middle of something completely different that I should be focusing completely on, and then all of a sudden, you know, all these other ideas just come to my brain. Yeah. Anyways, so the idea was tattoos in belief systems. Now, I know a lot of you probably don't know all of that. Actually, it was tattoos and piercings in belief systems because there's more than just tattoos. But I know a lot of you may not know that much about it because, well, I mean, it's not something that's really big in America. You know, there's certain religions that are really big in America, which one of them is Christianity, and there's a lot of things that fall underneath the umbrella of Christianity. And with those religions, they do believe that, I mean, at least some of them, most of them, not all of them, because I know a lot of Christians that get tattoos. But usually when I have been approached by someone, it was usually some form of Christianity, that they're like, why are you destroying your temple or whatever, you know, things like that. And I've talked about this in the past. But I know that they don't necessarily believe that you should be putting tattoos on your body. Now, I am not full-on Christian. I believe in some of the Christianity. You know, I love what Jesus had to say. I love a lot of different things in the Bible, and I definitely am not, I'm not against it completely. Like, I wouldn't say I'm against it at all. I would just say that there's certain things that I don't necessarily believe. I will never judge you based off of what you believe, but then again, I also would not like you to judge me based on what I believe, you know, because we all have the right, the freedom to believe whatever the heck we want to believe. And this is what life should be all about, right? Of course. But I have done a lot of studying into different religions, belief systems, and everything like that. It's, you know, it's kind of my thing. I used to go to a lot of spiritual centers, and I was a toddler teacher at a spiritual center for a couple of years. Worked with kids at another spiritual center. I did a lot of different things with spirituality, and you know, there was always classes and different things like that, and I of course do my own research online and things like that. Now, one of the things that I remember learning, and I don't even remember how I learned it, but I just remember that I did. And one of the things that I did learn was that there are actually different belief systems that believe in tattoos as a spiritual thing, piercings as a spiritual thing. It makes them feel closer to their gods, or it makes them feel like they have some form of connectivity to their gods. So, like, in Asia, a lot of the times you see them getting, like, different forms of tattoos. Of course, back when it was more of a spiritual thing, it was a pounding in tattoos, so, you know, it was a very spiritual practice because it was almost like a ritual that you had to go through to be a certain way, or blah blah blah, right? You know, there's a lot of I don't know the exact parts of Asia that did it. I do know China was one of them, but I don't know if Japan did it too. But they were very big on that, and there was a lot of things that they would tattoo. Like dragons were very popular to be tattooed. There's a lot of different Asian artwork that you can see today that was actually forms of their spirituality back in that time, and probably still today. You know, I've never actually been to China, so I don't know. But that's one culture and belief system. I do know a lot of the time certain Asian countries believe in Buddhism, but there are some that believe in other things too. So I could not tell you exactly what belief system it was that did that, but I can tell you that it was done, and it was done as a way to get in touch with their gods, to have a reminder of their gods, to have a reminder of God, or just things that they felt brought them closer to their spirituality. And then there was also in Africa, I don't know, I'm sure a lot of people know this actually. Africa, it was very big for piercings, and that was it was ritualistic too, because the closer you came to being like a chief, or it was very much about your status, but it was also about getting closer to your gods as well, like the rings around the necks. A lot of the women in their culture did that. Now, every time there was like an event in their life that they felt they were brought closer to their gods, I think there may be other reasons as well, but they felt closer, they would put another ring, and it would put them higher and closer to their god. So that was kind of a form of gauging. But they also had other forms of gauging. They also had, like, you know, the nose and ears, and I think there was lip ones, and not just gauging but piercing. But the bigger the piercing was, the more status and well, obviously spirituality you had. They also did tattoos there as well. There was different forms that also brought them closer to their gods, also about status. A lot of times you'll see different, like, I guess it's tribal work, but I think there was other forms of it too. Like there was different markings and things on their chests and their arms, and all over their bodies sometimes, depending. And the more you had, the more you were in touch, and the more status you had. It was definitely a really big thing in many different cultures, and I actually know there is other ones, but I have to go get my food real quick, so I will be right back to this video. I'm back. Just had to turn my food over. So, back to the subject I was talking about. I did kind of look it up a little bit just to remember, because I now realize that the Asian culture that I was talking about, it was the Buddhism. They did wear tattoos as a form of safety. It was to protect them. There was other rituals that they did as well, but that was the main one that they did. A lot of Buddhism involved that, but the Thai one was the biggest. They did the safety, wore it as safety. I think in the Asian cultures they did more of their own versions of things, because Thailand has a lot of different belief systems than like China and Japan and stuff like that. So there was different reasons that they wore them. Let's see, what else did I have to say? Oh yes, Hinduism, they do have a lot of beautiful, intricate artwork, which actually is a lot of the reason why there's so many of them that do have tattoos. And, you know, I don't know if they do it as a spiritual practice, but I do know that they do a lot of the, what is it? Henna. God, I couldn't think of the name. They do a lot of henna, which is not really permanent tattooing, but they do it as a temporary, and that is a belief system. They actually use it in many of their spiritual practices. Like when you get married, you have to do it, and when you're about to have a baby, you do it. And it's, you know, it's a form of, you know, getting closer to their God and things like that. So that one's one. But has anybody ever seen the show The Vikings? I don't know if any of you have. It's a very popular show. I don't know how far where it shows. Um, I know it's popular in America, but they did tattoos as a very, very spiritual belief system. It was, again, a hierarchy, their status, but it also was supposed to bring them closer to their gods. And a status in their culture in life was also a status in their culture in their heavens. Um, so they believed in Valhalla, which is the equivalent to heaven. But if you gain status on earth, you gain that status in heaven, Valhalla, as well. So to them, gaining that status, obviously meant that they were getting closer to their gods. There was a lot more to it than just that, because I know that paganism is actually looked at as a witchcraft, right? It's believed to be some form of witchcraft and all of that. But this is not true. In fact, a lot of the world used to be pagan. Back in history, the Catholicism came from Spain, and they took over. They took over different countries and forced them to believe in their beliefs. And that's why a lot of the countries and things like that today will believe in Catholicism. Not to say that Catholicism is bad. Again, I don't fully believe in it, but there's pieces. It is a branch underneath Christianity, so there's pieces of it that are wonderful. Not just I'm sure, but I know. But yes, that was a way that they went about it back in history. So as far as that goes, they did not appreciate paganism, and paganism was not a bad thing. They believed in multiple gods. Greek and Roman mythology is actually considered a pagan type of religion. They have their own gods that are different than maybe the pagan religion believes. But here's the thing, is that they're all very similar. If you look at any religion that has multiple gods, usually the gods are so similar. The most closely related are Greek and Roman. Greek has Venus or not Greek. Roman has Venus for Aphrodite, which is Greek god, and that is the god of love. Cupid is Roman, and Eros is Greek. Let's see, same thing. They do exactly the same thing. They had many other different names too, and I can't even think of them all right now. Excuse me for that, but I've been working all day and trying to focus on work, so I don't have all the details and the facts right here and now, but I can tell you, if you look it up, you'll see what I mean. But there are other religions that have multiple gods, and in their multiple gods, they have similarities. There's a god of love, there's a god of forgiveness, there's a god of death, there's a god of beauty, there's a god for just about everything. God of light, and they're all very closely related. They do a lot of the same things, and so in all actuality, it's not witchcraft that they believe in. They believe in psychic abilities, I guess, is something. Healing naturally, using energies, being able to create from nothing. It was not witchcraft, but yes, you can consider it magic, because really, honestly, today, we would look at it like, how is that possible? But here's the thing, magic is not so unheard of. Yes, you can't, do certain things, maybe. I mean, honestly, I've never been able to, so I can't say whether you can or can't. But at the same time, completely, Xing it out because, well, this is what society says, is not exactly the way to go about it. Because for yourself, you have to learn whether or not you believe in that, or whether or not you feel it's real. But going based off of that because society says, oh, that's fake because nobody's been able to do that. Well, have you seen anyone be able to do that? Probably not. But have you asked? Have you gone around and said, hey, do you know how to do this? Hey, let's try to do this. You know, it's one of those things that you don't even want to try it because it's too weird. It's too crazy. It's not possible. It can't happen. And you know what's crazy? Is that miracles do happen. And what's even crazier is that a lot of the time religions are based off of miracles, right? I mean, most religions are based off of a miracle or miracles. And for you not to believe in miracles to this day says something. If you have that belief system, why can't you believe in a miracle? It can happen. It has in your belief system. Why can't it happen again? And just because you believe maybe only one person was ever able to do that or whatever, that's not true either. Because a lot of times in your belief systems, there were multiple people who were able to do it. So what if in your belief system, God chose to have multiple people at the same time? I mean, could be happening right here and now. But you would never know it because you were never willing to discover the truth, right? Because you wanted to believe in something, but also believe less than. Miracles exist. I truly believe in that. I truly believe that magic exists, and maybe not in the form of, oh, I found your card in the deck. No, not that. Or I pulled a rabbit out of the hat. Probably not necessarily that type of magic. But I have seen things happen that could be considered crazy, could be considered really significantly magical. Healings and things like that you may never believe could happen so easily just by the touch of a hand or even just because someone believed it could happen. But it happened. And I watched it happen. There's been quite a few times I have watched that happen. And it's crazy. I've even felt it in myself. Being able to just suddenly be healed by someone, by the touch of their hand or their belief that it could happen to me and that I believed it could happen to me. And that, to me, that's magical. And of course, I have my own abilities that, I don't necessarily talk about on a regular basis because I don't want people to think, oh, this person's crazy. But I don't think that anyone should be considered crazy for believing in that. At the same time, I want you to be comfortable and able to listen to me without judging me immediately. So yes, I have my own abilities, and maybe someday I'll talk about it a little bit further, but for right now, we're just going to talk about the things that I have seen. And these are the things that I saw. So with that, I think that yes, you can believe that tattoos should not be allowed. But here's the thing, there's other belief systems out there other than yours. So for you to tell me that I can't have tattoos because your belief system says so, it's kind of shutting me out completely. And why should I even be around that? I don't need to. And what makes you think that that's going to make me want to come and join your religion, even though you say that I won't go to heaven or whatever because I don't believe in your system or maybe whatever? That's not going to make me believe it because you're human just as much as I am. So what makes your religion more right than mine? We're both human. We both could have made a mistake, or we both could be right at the same time. So, with that, I do not hate anyone for their belief system. You are allowed to believe what you are allowed to believe. But remember this, the moment you push your religion on someone else, you lose its significance, all right? You can show how beautiful it is, and you can determine that it is beautiful, and you can be a great person because of it, and someone could be like, oh my gosh, what made you so awesome? And you can explain. But for you to just push and poke and prod and say that someone has to be a certain way, it loses its significance. So, I'm allowed to have my tattoos. And my piercings. Because I believe so. And I know that my God would never tell me no. And I know I've talked about this many times, but I like to reiterate, because sometimes maybe you haven't seen the old videos. But hey, whatever works, right? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm just laying in bed, and I have to go turn my food again, and I'm probably burning it. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great and wonderful day, and stay beautiful, and peace, and good luck to everybody.